I'm back with SuperNanny Joe Foster, and joining the conversation is Princella Smith, conservative commentator. Princella, you were spanked as a child, and some say a child won't learn unless there's pain as punishment. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think that's an interesting way of phrasing the question, Joy. Thanks. It's not so much that a kid won't learn unless there's pain as punishment. What I learned from corporal punishment was that there are consequences to your actions. And, you know, it's relative to each child. I mean, my middle brother needed very few spankings, yet me and the youngest brother actually got quite a few spankings. And I think, I know what my parents tried to teach us was that there are consequences to our actions. I wasn't spanked every time I did something wrong, but I do believe that, you know, with every child, there's a different level of discipline. Some kids are smarter. In this case, with the hot sauce thing, I mean, it sounds like that mom got creative, and by God, you know, God bless her. I mean, I don't think that I would ever do that with my kids, but creative punishment is sometimes necessary.
I wonder how she would like it if someone put hot sauce down her throat. I don't think she would like it.
No, and again, to my understanding of the story, she didn't pour it down his throat. She put it on his tongue. A 7-year-old boy lying, and that's very serious, Joy. When these kids, you know, we think that stuff's cute when they're young, and then they become teenagers and they're out of control. And I think that to arrest this mother was a bit extreme.
Joe, how do you respond to that? And, you know, the other thing I want to say is a lot of people say to me, oh, just a little spanking doesn't hurt. I am against all spanking. That's my position. All spanking, all hitting, all terrorizing, all name-calling. I don't believe in any of that. To me, that is the antithesis of love. But that is just me. How do you respond to what Princella says?
Priscilla clearly stated something that I do agree with, and that's that parents do need to put in, you know, boundaries and have discipline, and the consequences in her household were spanking. The reality is that her parents chose to use spanking as a form of punishment, and the reason why some of those siblings had more spankings than others was certainly due to their temperaments and not wanting to cohere to the rules that were being laid down in Priscilla's family's home. But the reality is that was a form of discipline that your parents obviously certainly had been instilled from the way back when, and it's a thought that still parents carry now. The only way that they can get their children to behave and abide by those rules is to be able to spank them and to hit them, and that becomes worse and worse, and a child's tolerance becomes more. You know, a child is supposed to look up to their parent by example and to understand the importance of thinking for themselves and honouring those expectations and values.
Joy,
and I have seen.
Yes.
I have to respond to that, Joy, if you allow me to.
30 seconds, sure.
Okay, look, I'm 27 years old. I've run for Congress. I'm a black Republican. I'm very opinionated. I'm very healthy. I love my parents. Nothing about them spanking me didn't teach me to think for myself. As a matter of fact, both of them were very upstanding citizens who did lead by example. But the truth of the matter is, sometimes I need a little heat on my butt, and I thank God to this day that I was prevented from a lot of the mistakes that a lot of my peers did because they enforced it.
I just would like to say one thing.
The reality is that it breaks relationships down. It's as simple as that.
Show
statistics show it should need to be protected.
Joe, let me just say this. Spanking is linked to aggression, anxiety, and lower IQ.
Yes, it is.
Those are the new studies.
So I respectfully disagree.
Okay. Thank you guys very much. And you can see Joe Frost on SuperNanny Fridays at 8 p.m. on ABC. We'll be right back.